Welcome to the InfoWars Nightly News. I'm your host, Margaret Howell. It's Wednesday, January 11th, 2017. Here's what's coming up tonight.
Tonight, President-elect Donald Trump calls CNN fake news during a live press conference.
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
You're attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you give us a question?
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you stay categorical?
You are fake news.
Trump went on to say that the fake stream news media has destroyed lives, and all he wants is honest reporters.
I've seen people destroyed. I've seen people absolutely destroyed, and I think it's very unfair. So all I can ask for is honest reporters.
Meanwhile, BuzzFeed and CNN scrambled to defend themselves over the Golden Shower's backwash.
You're cool. You, I'm out.
All that plus much more up next on the InfoWars Nightly News. In case you haven't heard, InfoWars has become the most influential media outlet in America. We're making freedom go viral. And now we are proud to announce a new weapon in the epic battle against the globalists. InfoWars Prime, where you can watch live high-definition feeds of The Alex Jones Show, plus exclusive insider videos from the InfoWars crew and behind-the-scenes action. Go to Infowars.com/app and download today. InfoWars Prime is available right now for your iPhone or Android. You will have access to exclusive videos that you can't see anywhere else. And that means live coverage of events and breaking news on location as it happens. You can also take advantage of amazing deals from the InfoWars store that are only available for InfoWars Prime subscribers. That's InfoWars Prime at Infowars.com/app. And if you can hear my voice, you are the resistance.
First, I want to get to a very important piece for me. It looks like President-elect Donald Trump is putting RFK Jr. ahead of a commission, and this commission, it is highlighting vaccine safety. Now, this has been a major issue for a lot of Americans. Approximately 1 in 4 American families deals with a child that is autistic, and they're linking it to vaccines. Now, if you recall, Alex Jones, he interviewed Dr. Andrew Wakefield, the CDC whistleblower who linked vaccines and autism and the cover-up that ensued. Of course, he lost his license, but it looks like this issue is being renewed with Donald Trump at the helm, and RFK Jr. could be the person to lead this charge. Now, if you recall, he has railed against the vaccine holocaust in this country. He's also a climate change advocate, but that aside, it looks like he is the person to man this commission, and we could see Donald Trump taking on Big Pharma coming in the next 100 days. Now, I want to read you a direct quote from this article that we have up on our website and aggregated from the Daily Mail. President-elect Donald Trump has tapped Kennedy, a vaccine skeptic, to run a new commission on the safety of vaccines. Now, he revealed his new role after a meeting with Trump in the Tower on Tuesday of this week, saying that Trump asked him to head the commission on vaccine safety and scientific integrity. Now, we've covered here on InfoWars, and Alex has covered this. He's interviewed Rob Dew, our nightly news director, and our senior producer, Marcos Morales, about autism-related vaccine injury. And we've been covering this for the past 2 years, and it looks like Trump is taking on this issue head-on. Now, in other news, I had to give you that first. It's been an epic day for Trump, let me tell you. The smackdown that happened with a CNN reporter, Jim Acosta, who's been trailing Trump for the past months. He's been trolling him, if you will, on Twitter. I've been following it. He's the journalist who famously tweeted out that photograph of Trump post-victory in a restaurant with his family, that private meeting. It was Jim Acosta who put that at the forefront. It looks like Trump has smacked down Jim Acosta, calling him fake news today, if you can believe it. This is going viral. We have a clip of that exchange. Take a look at it.
Information that was false and fake and never happened got released to the public. As far as BuzzFeed, which is a failing pile of garbage, writing it, I think they're going to suffer the consequences. They already are. And as far as CNN going out of their way to build it up, it's a disgrace what took place. It's a disgrace. And I think they ought to apologize to start with.
Question.
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you stay categorically?
You are fake news.
Woo, that epic smackdown happening. CNN, the real fake news, the purveyors of fake media, they had the nerve to publish that dossier as fact, and he put the smackdown on Jem Acosta, trolling him in a press conference today. He took aim, calling CNN the real fake news. You know, we've been calling them out as fake news here for months and months on end. That unverified dossier, that information that was released regarding Trump and the golden shower scenario. And Leanne McAdoo and Owen Schroyer go into the accusations against Trump. Unfounded, by the way. BuzzFeed has published them. And you know what? The unverified media misspelled names, misspelled words in them, didn't bother to verify it at all. And even Russia has said that Trump's golden showers blackmail moment is, that perverted romp story isn't true. It's fake news. But CNN nonetheless jumped on the bandwagon. And we have an article up. It's from the Daily Beast, who also circulated this ridiculous piece of nonsense. This unverified, salacious 35-page document, a summary in which was presented to Barack Obama and President-elect Donald Trump last week, includes those allegations that Russian operatives sought to, quote, exploit Trump's personal obsessions and sexual perversions. And it's my understanding that the U.S. intel community jumped on the bandwagon too. You know what? If this is our U.S. intel community, we've got serious problems here, folks. And I don't mean with just the intel, because the fact that they jumped on this ridiculous BuzzFeed story, and they have a White House press pass. I just want to lay that out there. Barack Obama has given them a White House press pass, and they are actually the purveyors of fake news. They ran with this ridiculous story, and it turns out to be a hoax. There's a Zero Hedge article. This 4chan claims to have fabricated this anti-Trump report as a hoax. And guess what? Media and U.S. intel, they fall for the golden shower hoax story, hook, line, and sinker. And you know what? I'm a reporter. I've been covering Trump for years. And I can just tell you right now, from my understanding, you know, he says he's a germaphobe. You know, this didn't ring true when I read it. I thought it was from The Onion. Turns out the U.S. intel community briefed him about it. And it is embarrassing, but he calls it out for what it is, fake news. Speaking of news that, you know, the vitriol in which the left is going after Trump right now, it is ridiculous. Chuck Schumer leading the helm. And he's saying that the CIA, the intel communities could actually be coming after Trump because Trump is telling the truth. I'm directly quoting here. Leanne McAdoo and Owen Schroyer reported on this yesterday. You take on the intel community. They have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. That sounds like a direct threat to a president-elect, if you ask me. And frankly, it is an embarrassment all the way around. We understand that the CIA, there are rogue agents within it. And I'm of the belief that the head of the CIA is potentially behind this, because we understand that he had that intel meeting at Trump Tower this week, briefing him on the Russian hacking. What Russian hacking is he talking about? They should release that information to the American public, because as we know, you know what? Where there's smoke, there's fire, but there's no fire here and no smoke. It looks like they're blowing it up their own you know what. Now, speaking of one of Trump's sworn enemies, I took this from the Daily Mail, and I was formerly, a person that respected John McCain, frankly, but he's admitting that he's the smeared person behind the dossier to the FBI. And he's the person who's purveyed that information to the FBI. These details are surfacing about these documents, this bizarre journey from a British former spy and diplomat into the hands of John McCain. I don't know what happened to John McCain, but frankly, as a POW, I respected him. I believed in his message, and I am severely disappointed with Senator John McCain as an American, because I don't understand. Is it a dementia aspect? What's going on with him and Lindsey Graham? You know, they're taking to the stage a attacking with utter vitriol a sitting president-elect. He will be a sitting president come next week. And frankly, I am sick and tired of this crap. This Russian blackmail plot. It was featured in the Daily Mail. It looks like John McCain might be the person who actually handed over this garbage to the FBI, which, the BuzzFeed news organization, if we can even call them that, has published along with the Daily Beast. Now, speaking of that, speaking of Russia, as someone who lived and worked in Russia as a foreign correspondent, I understand somewhat how the thinking is behind this. And Putin himself in Russia, they're slamming this as nonsensical. They're claiming that this compromising info about Donald Trump, this perverted hooker romp that supposedly took place in Moscow where I lived, is utter garbage. And I would agree with that analysis. And speaking of, the utter garbage aspect of it, BuzzFeed themselves, they misspelled Igor Sechin, who's a Russian foreign minister. He's a Russian minister, rather. They misspell his name. They misspell a lot of aspects of this story. It doesn't ring true. And the fact that our own intel community and the media go hand one specific paragraph. They're attempting to quantify a new economic dimension, and they're trying to identify the construct of two U.S. economies, Wall Street and Main Street. And it looks like for the first time in a very, very, very long time, we're going to see a growth spurt in the U.S. And they're highlighting a forecast of 14%. I happen to think that number is greater, but we'll have to wait and see. And I'm looking forward to covering this Trump presidency and the wave of prosperity that's coming. Now, we also have an article that's up on our website. It's from the Free Beacon, and it talks about Obamacare. And as I mentioned before on the show, I come from a small business owner who employs 8 people. And Obamacare, what that's done to our small businesses in this country, it looks like it's just been absolutely devastating. But we have renewed hope, if you will, on the Hill. Congress is saying that they're going to repeal Obamacare, despite the ridiculous tax mangle, if you will. 58% of Americans say repealing Obamacare is important. It's more important to them than health care reform. Well, as we know, most Americans, they did not approve of Obamacare to begin with when it passed. There were several questions surrounding it. And you know what? It looks like we're ushering in a new era here, and we could see a total repeal and a healthcare system that works for all Americans. Well, be sure and join me. Coming up next in studio, our own Millie Weaver joins us live talking about the inauguration.
After 8 years of enduring President Barack Obama's rampant hypocrisy, his final speech was nothing less than the great conclusion to the hyper-normalization that characterized his presidency.
You can tell that I'm a lame duck because nobody's following instructions. If I had told you 8 years ago that America would reverse a Great Recession, reboot our auto industry, and unleash the longest stretch of job creation in our history, if I had told you that we would open up a new chapter with the Cuban people, shut down Iran's nuclear weapons program without firing a shot, take out the mastermind of 9/11, if I had told you that we would win marriage equality and secure the right to health insurance for another 20 million of our fellow citizens, if I had told you all that, you might have said our sights were set a little too high. But that's what we did. After my election, there was talk of a post-racial America. And such a vision, however well-intended, was never realistic. Race remains a potent and often divisive force in our society. Now, I've lived long enough to know that race relations are better than they were 10 or 20 or 30 years ago, no matter what some folks say. You can see it not just in statistics, you see it in the attitudes of young Americans across the political spectrum. For native-born Americans, it means reminding ourselves that the stereotypes about immigrants today were said almost word for word about the Irish and Italians and Poles, who it was said were going to destroy the fundamental character of America. And as it turned out, America wasn't weakened by the presence of these newcomers. These newcomers embraced this nation's creed, and this nation was strengthened. So, it's that spirit, a faith in reason and enterprise, and the primacy of right over might, that allowed us to resist the lure of fascism and tyranny. An order based not just on military power or national affiliations, but built on principles: the rule of law, human rights, freedom of religion and speech and assembly, and an independent press, an intolerance of dissent and free thought.
Everyone knows that InfoWars funds our operation by selling high-quality products that we use and that everybody needs at very competitive, affordable prices. And so I get questions all the time over the years. Why don't you sell body armor at InfoWarsStore.com? Or why don't you have sponsors that sell body armor? And it's simple. I will only promote and I will only sell the very, very best out there. And there's a nexus point. There's quality versus price, and those 2 points have to come together. National Defense Labs and its civilian subsidiary, Citizen Armor, has given InfoWars the exclusive on distributing to the American people the true next generation in body armor. People are always saying, it's the 21st century. Where are the silver jetpacks? And where's Buck Rogers and the Sky Cars? Well, the globalists have basically suppressed a lot of those developments. They admit they want a post-industrial world. They call any technology that gets around their systems of control disruptive. Well, believe me, this is disruptive to tyrants worldwide.
Basically, what we're bringing to the InfoWars team is a new line of dynamic, lightweight body armor. It's nanotube technology. It's created here in Texas. It is lighter, more flexible, easier to wear, more comfortable, and stronger than anything else on the market. We've went out and did some testing. We originally found their claims, saw what they said. We were all kind of hesitant to believe that something so light, so flexible, could be so strong. So what we did is we went out, we used different pistols, different calibers to test different pieces of the body armor to ensure that it was up to the high standards that we expect to carry here at the InfoWars store.
Born in Texas, made in America, exclusively available at InfoWarsStore.com right now.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It's a 1/4 inch thick. I mean, it's got a 20-year warranty. It's waterproof. You can wear it. It's comfortable. I mean, it's not bulky. I mean, that's the biggest, I think, intrigue for you, Alex.
The biggest thing for us is, unfortunately, we live in a society now where we need to be able to defend ourselves and our families at any time. And this is something that is so thin and so lightweight.
You said when you talk to people that have been using this, actually testing it for years, and people that currently test it for us, they didn't just say outstanding. I mean, what did they really say about this?
No, this is through the roof. They want to know, how do they get it? Where do they find it? A lot of my law enforcement official buddies want to know the same thing because they're wearing these big, heavy, bulky vests that don't work as well. So they're looking for something you can wear all day, 12 hours a day, in and out of a car.
And 90, I mean, you can look up the numbers, 90+% of fatalities with guns when they're used in a crime, I think it's like 94, is pistols or shotguns. This stops that unless it's a slug. I mean, that's amazing. So they can wear this, and only somebody with a rifle round is going to get through it. And soon, and then we'll have it, if it's available to civilians, we're not sure, we're going to have the stuff that's, I mean, unstoppable. This deal is so insane, is so good, it makes my head spin. But I guess the first people to sell cars kind of had to give them away. People didn't believe it. Hell, I don't want that thing. I feed my horse hay. The backpack body armor is only $200. And we shot everything you can imagine at it. Again, fund the InfoWar. Get the game-changing nanotech tubes from Buck Rogers. It's a win-win. $200. Go check out all their different products at InfoWarsStore.com. It's amazing.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Margaret Hell. I'm joined in studio by the magnificent Millie Weaver, who is coming to you via Austin, Texas. Millie, we love having you in studio. She's going to the inauguration, folks, with Alex Jones and Rob Dew and Owen Schroyer are going to be in the ground covering those protests. Any words of wisdom for people watching? How do you do it, Millie? That would be my question.
Well, you know, it's very exciting. I'm excited to be here, first of all. This is awesome. Not only that, but I'm really excited to be going out to cover the inauguration in D.C., which is fast approaching. I feel like it couldn't be here fast enough. You know, there's going to be a lot of protests that are planned, as well as some pro-Trump groups are going to be out there, and a lot of Trump supporters as well. So it's definitely going to be very interesting, and I've enjoyed following Trump throughout his campaigning, as well as following Hillary Clinton and seeing all of the stage magic that was used to try and make it look like she had more support than she did.
You and I were talking off camera, and we were talking about the protest groups that actually
especially being a woman out covering these violent protests, like the one that I was just at not too long ago in Cleveland. So it's going to be interesting. And given the fact that this woman's protest is supposed to be huge, I mean, yeah, there's going to be a lot of other women there, but at the same time, we've all seen how violent some of these SJW women can be. So
you take it with grace. Millie takes it on the chin with grace, you know. And in fact, and I've only done this a few times myself, being in a crowd with SJWs and having them spit on you and hurl profanity at you and talk to you like a non-human person. You know, we've covered that frequently. Owen Schroyer does that really well too. And I just want to give a shout out to Owen. You know, he gets in the crowd of SJWs and he gets spit on and taunted, and yet he keeps going and he's able to break through some of those lies. That is not an easy thing to do. Meanwhile, looking like a Victoria's Secret model who has just had a baby, I might add, that is really hard to do. You know, people take it for granted, but honestly, it is something that is just, you know, you're going to be doing this next week. We want to make sure people tune in. Alex is going to be in Washington, D.C., along with Millie Weaver, Millennial Millie, and Owen Schroyer, and our Nightly News Director, Rob Dew. Any highlights that you hope to have on camera, do you think?
Well, basically, it's just basically what I want to talk about is how it's going to be an insane event. I mean, they have tons of, you know, violent protests planned. And I really think that, you know, Donald Trump, he called out the media today about their fake news and how they're constantly just spinning and telling lies. And yeah, I'm so glad he did, because I would, you know, have wanted to do it myself. So I don't blame him. He's done it before at his past rallies, but this one in particular was actually pretty awesome to see. And you wouldn't have these violent protesters out there and these people hoarding the streets with anti-Trump protests if it weren't for the fake news, the mainstream media fake news outlets constantly spinning tons of fake news out there and false information, which give them a false impression that Donald Trump is this evil villain. And they, you know, they compare him to Hitler, all these sound bites that basically the mainstream media talking pundits routinely use. It's just a lot of times when you talk to these protesters, they're literally just speaking verbatim what they're hearing these news pundits say.
They're lapdogs for an administration that has hated our country. You know, watching President Obama try to be relevant, try to promote his legacy in these final days and cautioning us with a warning that democracy is in danger. You know, I had tears in my eyes listening to this, tears of joy last night listening to this ridiculous address, because for the first time, I'm like, this is finally over. You know, we've seen this demonic narrative, and, you know, it's just really, it's taken what's the truth and it's made it a lie. And for the first time, I'm actually, and I hate to sound like Michelle Obama. Do you remember when she said the first time I'm proud to be, I've been a proud American for all my life, but for the first time, I'm proud to say that I support the ideas and the values of a president. And you're going to be on the ground, and I do not envy that. Leanne McAdoo and I are going to be on the desk covering this. She's going to be Skyping it.
Yeah.
And, you know, well, honestly,
that's where all the excitement is. It's really going to be exciting to be out there with the people and getting their take on it and how this event is going to be impacting them emotionally and everything else.
Do you think that the other groups don't have the permits? Because you said that 2 groups have permits, so all the other ones presumably
as far as, the other groups don't seem to have permits. The only ones that do, it's the women's rights group as well as the Bikers for Trump group. Their permits have been approved. However, there are going to be a lot of other protest groups out there that are going to be being violent and, you know, breaking the law while they're out there, and they don't have permits, and they don't really care to have a permit because they're planning on basically exercising civil disobedience, while at the same time, you know, we could see rioting and we could see all kinds of stuff going down.
Doesn't it shock you to see the anarchy? And it does for me, you know, looking at people like Don Lemon, who, you know, I don't understand how he's not working for Saudi Arabian television. I tweeted this to Jim Acosta, who was called out by Trump today. You know, how are you not working for a foreign press agent that doesn't believe in human rights because of how ridiculous you are? But honestly, Millie, we are running out of time. Be sure to catch the magnificent Millie Weaver on the ground, reporting with Owen Schroyer live from the inauguration next week. Leanne McAdoo and I are going to be covering it in studio. You don't want to miss this. Coming up, Millennial Millie next week, along with Rob Dew and Owen Schroyer.
All right.
wars are not cheap. And a lot of revolutionaries rob banks, you name it, to fund themselves. But I'm a restorationist, and I believe in Americana. I believe in the Renaissance. That's why I harp on it constantly. And so we fund our operation by bringing you the very best game-changing, tip-of-the-spear products that are out there. And for us, things like game-changing, tip-of-the-spear, that's not rhetoric. That's why on major third-party sites, we get 4.7, 4.8, 4.9 reviews that nobody else gets by the thousands. Because we go out and do the research, the same ideas, the same research, the same technology, the same sources that we use to dominate the globalists politically and try to free this republic in the world, we apply to the products we bring you. And that's why we are now announcing a new special to kick off 2017 to make our bodies great again. Now, a lot of the nutraceuticals that we offer, over 25 that we've developed, have sold out. I think 7 or 8 have sold out. More are coming in hopefully in the next few weeks, but they've got to be produced at the highest strictures, even past California standards, which is almost impossible to do. That's the whole point of it, is to stop supplements. But we go to that standard. But we've got a whole bunch of the products that are still available right now, and I want to extend to all of you those specials to make our bodies great again, because our bodies are our temples. And look, I've never claimed to be some beach boy. I was like that 20 years ago. I dedicated myself to working out, and I was in great shape. I'm dedicated to fighting the globalists, gained a lot of weight. But I've lost over 60, 70 pounds of fat. I've probably gained 20, 30 pounds of muscle. I've actually tried to not even do that, but that's what's happened. Now, it's important to understand, when I get up here and tell people my views on this, I'm not lecturing you. I'm the worst about not even taking my own products, even though I know DNA Force is medical grade, Japanese developed, bio-PQQ, you name it, 170 plus studies. We can make claims on this. This thing is like the holy grail, basically, of nerve regrowth, detoxification, antioxidant. I've got this at my fingertips at cost. I forget to take it. I forget to give it to my kids. I forget to, push it on my parents. This is God's gift to us through nature. Well, guess what? DNA Force is coming back in. It's discounted. Now, in the next few weeks, a lot of these products that have sold out are coming back in. A lot of the products we have left, we still have some supplies of and will sell out soon. But I'm continuing to offer giant sales. Brain Force, our incredible nootropic, 20% more now in each bottle, 30% off. Super Mel Vitality, 30% off. Secret 12, 20% off. Liver Shield, 20% off. Survival Shield X2, 30% off. Knockout, the amazing sleep aid. I love it, take it every day. 20% off. Prostagard, 20% off. And many others at InfoWarsLife.com. You are literally energizing this operation against the globalists. So I want to, again, salute you all and ask you to go check out the amazing specials we've got running right now for 2017 in the month of January. Make our bodies great again.
Electrify your day with Secret 12. It's like lightning in a bottle. We all have days in which we just can't seem to perform at the level we'd like to. InfoWars Life Secret 12 is designed to naturally energize your body and mind with 2 great tasting and super high quality forms of vitamin B12. Proper vitamin and nutrient intake is essential to keep your body functioning at optimum levels. The reality is, it's hard to take in the proper amount of vitamins we need each day with our modern diets. Secret 12 by InfoWars Life is an easy way to naturally upgrade your vitamin B12 intake and support your body's natural systems. It pairs 2 forms of vitamin B12 into one explosive formula. Vitamin B12 supports healthy energy levels through red blood cell formation and aiding in the body's natural processes, but it also assists with many other functions of the body. Electrify your mind and body and take your health to the next level. Experience the power of Secret 12 at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
Owen Schroyer, joined by Leanne McAdoo. And mainly, we're going to be covering the presser that Donald Trump just held. First press conference since July 27th for Donald Trump. And boy, were there fireworks, Leanne.
Absolutely. I mean, there was just kind of this explosive and unverifiable dossier that hit the internet last night, just kind of took the world by storm. And I'm almost wondering, was this some sort of a psyop by BuzzFeed to just prove how quickly fake news can spread? Because they took fake news to a whole new level. And a lot of people are kind of saying, well, why did Donald Trump respond? Why didn't he just ignore it? But no, you have to hit these people immediately, call them on their lies and their fake news.
Well, and that's amazing. You talk about, was it BuzzFeed? Are they the ones that took this to the new level? Are they the ones that put all the fuel on this flame? Or was it 4chan? Or was it the intelligence communities? I think that I'm still kind of on the fence here. I'm not sure how this got to the point it was. I think everybody involved obviously had their hands all over this, but Donald Trump obviously responded. You were talking about this morning. You were like, this is huge. This is fake news. It's catching on. The liberals are eating it. I can't believe that this is happening.
Well, the reason why this is just so insane, and we're going to kind of give you a little precursor, kind of walk
break this down. Give me the chronology here as we got to this press conference.
To this before we go to the press conference. But it's just incredible because even on talk radio here this morning, they're talking about this dossier as if it's real, even though BuzzFeed said specifically this is unverifiable. They have no way really to check these allegations. And so what happened, this was apparently some intelligence report that had been floating around for months. It was being collected by a former British intelligence officer who was being paid by people, first the Republicans against Trump and then the Democrats, the DNC, who are wanting to just collect some intel on Donald Trump and take him out. But this stuff was so unverifiable, so explosive. The New York Times was sitting on it for a few months. They didn't even want to go there because they couldn't verify it. It was basically fake news to them, unverifiable. So then CNN all the talk radio shows are talking about, that Trump likes golden showers and all of this. Totally unverified and explosive and dubious, and you probably shouldn't believe it, but it forced Donald Trump to kind of call out CNN in this presser today. Absolutely just dangerous as well. But like we said, it's all about getting those clicks.
Well, here was the amazing thing about this to me. Now, BuzzFeed Ben even said that he believes, now you said he mentioned, oh, well, we have serious reasons to doubt this. We're going to put it out anyway. And then he says this dossier reflects how we see the job of reporters in 2017. So I'm not sure what exactly he means by that. If he means, well, we're just going to put anything out now.
Right.
We're just going to report fake news.
The job
Wait a
of
second.
reporters is to...
BuzzFeed wanted to be one of the watchdogs of fake news. Now you're putting out fake news. The whole fake news thing has totally failed. Washington Post had to admit that. But, you know, this golden shower thing, Leanne, now, when you sent this to me this morning, you said we need to shoot a segment on the fake news, the golden showers. And I didn't know what it was going on. And so I went onto Twitter to look at this. Here's what I can't believe. Every Trump hater, every liberal literally fell for this 100%. 100%. I'm on Twitter and all I'm seeing is, oh, Donald Trump likes golden showers, this, that, and the other thing from every angle. And I'm sitting here like, what is this nonsense?
To be fair, Donald Trump does have like a golden bathroom. So maybe he does, you know? Well, he's got gold in the shower.
Okay.
Since you're attacking us, can you give us a question?
Go ahead.
No, Mr. President-elect.
Go ahead.
Mr. President-elect, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization
You are attacking our news organization.
Your organization.
Can you give us a chance to ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can you state, Mr. President-elect,
go ahead.
Can you state
She's
categorically,
asking a question.
Mr.
Don't be rude.
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
You're attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you give us a question?
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir.
Our fellow info warriors across the United States and across the planet really love the Hillary for President 2016 shirts that we began to put out in 2015. It became a global meme against globalism and corruption, and a very strong maxim that's now being continued on today. So we now have George Soros, because the media attacked me on this whole goblin meme, and they've made huge jokes about it, but it's totally blown up in their face. We now have George Soros as a goblin on the back, and it says with a cross through him, you know, an X like Ghostbusters, no Soros, him as a goblin. It says deport Soros on the bottom, and on the top it says InfoWars established 1996. So it is a limited edition, deport Soros on the back, Hillary for President on the front, right-hand shoulder, Infowars.com. It's powerful. Hope you get out to everybody you know. Infowarsstore.com or call 888-253-3139.
In case you haven't heard, InfoWars has become the most influential media outlet in America. We're making freedom go viral. And now we are proud to announce a new weapon in the epic battle against the globalists, InfoWars Prime, where you can watch live high-definition feeds of The Alex Jones Show, plus exclusive insider videos from the InfoWars crew and behind-the-scenes action. Go to Infowars.com/app and download today. InfoWars Prime is available right now for your iPhone or Android. You will have access to exclusive videos that you can't see anywhere else. And that means live coverage of events and breaking news on location as it happens. You can also take advantage of amazing deals from the InfoWars store that are only available for InfoWars Prime subscribers. That's InfoWars Prime at Infowars.com/app. And if you can hear my voice, you are the resistance.
Well, Chelsea Manning, the Army soldier in 2010 who was found guilty of leaking classified information to WikiLeaks. If you recall, He was thrown the book, charged with 35 years for leaking that information, shedding some light over how the U.S. conducts its military operations, specifically in Iraq. I'm joined now by Leanne McAdoo in studio. We're going to be talking about Chelsea Manning. He's now seeking clemency from Barack Obama in his final days of office. Could he see it? And why would Barack Obama do this, considering that he has been harder on any leaker in presidential history, prosecuting more whistleblowers than anybody we've seen? I'm baffled, Leanne, as to why Chelsea Manning would be petitioning Barack Obama. It looks like he'd have more chance under Trump, in my opinion.
Well, you know, a lot of people are kind of playing on President Obama's heartstrings here. Of course, when this news first came out, President Obama misspoke, as he says, and said, you know, he's guilty. It's treason. He broke the law. And of course, you know, at that time, it's bad for the president to make that kind of a call. Chelsea Manning hadn't been convicted of any crime at the time. So here he is, the commander-in-chief, who is now basically saying this person's guilty when he's going to be tried in a military court, and the military court is underneath the commander-in-chief. So that was kind of messy on his part. But yes, initially, President Obama wrote even on his website in his kind of creed that he was going to be very protective of whistleblowers, and he put a bunch of whistleblower protections. But mysteriously, in about 2013, the whistleblower protections clause was removed from the .gov website, and he did go on to prosecute a record number of whistleblowers. So Chelsea Manning had been given a 35-year sentence for leaking this classified material. This is about 10 times longer than what most recent whistleblowers have had to endure. A lot of people say that the reason why the judge handed down such a harsh punishment, which they say, frankly, the leaks by Manning pale in significance than those to what the highly classified top secret material that was released by Edward Snowden. They say that it's because all that information was coming out about Edward Snowden, all those leaks at the same time, the judge felt compelled. She needed to send some type of a message, and then went on to give 35 years to Chelsea Manning. And as we know, rapists, murderers, people like that get off with much less. And they say, you know, this was 700,000 military files and diplomatic cables that were given to WikiLeaks at the time. And Chelsea Manning says that she did it because she just wanted the American people to see the truth of war, what's really happening there on the ground. Some of the things, the Baghdad airstrike that was released, they called the airstrike video collateral murder. It showed 2 American helicopters firing on a group of 10 men in Baghdad. 2 of those were Reuters employees who were there to photograph an American Humvee under attack, and the pilots mistook their cameras for weapons. So it's just kind of a lot of collateral damage that was exposed here. But Chelsea Manning said she felt that this was stuff that was already in the public record, and it's something that that type of information belongs to the American people and to the world, because this is a part of our history, which surprisingly is the exact same thing that Julian Assange has said recently with regards to giving $30,000 cash to anyone that is caught anyone that catches the Obama administration destroying records, because he says this belongs to the American people and to the world at large.
Right.
So interesting that you point out, why would Obama do this? Because he's been so harsh on whistleblowers, and also so harsh on WikiLeaks, what we're seeing presently. They wanted to list Assange as a high-tech terrorist and say it's a terrorist organization. We had Bob Beckel and others calling for Assange's assassination. So
we've seen even on InfoWars, where Alex Jones has interviewed the likes of Bill Binney, for example, the NSA whistleblower, who wasn't given nearly a harsh sentence as Chelsea Manning. And you touched on that beautifully. You know, Chelsea Manning, what he was trying to do was release the fact, and he put it on a Lady Gaga CD, and the crassness of the exposure was a key part of his trial. You know, as a reporter, I covered his trial, and I remember, specifically what he had leaked. He was trying to leak the fact that we killed innocent people. That was the bottom line. And the narrative at the time under the administration was that these were hostile combatants. They were not, in fact, hostile combatants. They were innocents, and two of them reporters that were fired upon. And that's a very sticky situation because it highlights the aspects of war, frankly, and the misinformation and the lying. And I'm of the belief that if somebody's telling the truth, what they did in this case was shoot the messenger because of his rank in the Army. You're not, it's frowned upon, frankly, and we're seeing this with him in this 35-year sentence, that you cannot release information even if it makes the American people look at the war differently. And specifically, just to highlight some of this case, he talked about being a homeless person, and he said that he's really never had the chance to have a life, that he spent most of his life homeless or in the Army, and he just wants the opportunity to live with this clemency. I don't see Barack Obama doing this, namely because he has been one of the foremost presidents who has been the harshest. He's expanded PRISM like we've never seen before. He's expanded the powers of the NSA. He's expanded the spying apparatus that we've had, expanded the powers and enumerated them in the Patriot Act. And for him to pardon and give clemency to Chelsea Manning, I do not see likely. However, President-elect Trump, I am renewed in my hope that he has mercy on people who tell the truth, because he himself has told the truth. And that's how I see Chelsea Manning, someone who tells the truth, and we shouldn't punish that. Specifically, and I wanted to highlight an aspect of this, in Manning's case, the 60 days that falls after Obama leaves office, there's no indication from the administration that they're going to speed up this response, although there is some leeway there. If he doesn't receive the clemency and he has to serve out the remaining of the 35-year sentence 6 years in, what does this say to people who tell the truth, specifically in our intel community? Trump's under fire right now. The intel community is pummeling him 6 ways from Sunday, according to Schumer. You think that he would show some